everyone, and welcome to another episode of Business Matters. I am your host, small business columnist at Q City Metro and certified entrepreneur mentor, Donna Maria, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. Business Matters is presented in partnership with Q City Metro and UNC Charlotte's Belk College of Business. Drive what's next with the Charlotte Online MBA, launching this fall with a choice of tech-focused concentrations. Learn more by attending a virtual information session. Click the link below for details. Well, I am just thrilled to be here with you today with Professor Janaki Goody. She is a business professor and MBA program director at UNC Charlotte's Belk College of Business. And we are going to have a great conversation today about all the things that await you at the Belk College of Business. Welcome, Professor Goody.
Thank you so much. Please call me Janaki if you like. And thank you for having me, QC Metro and Donna Maria. I really appreciate being here.
Well, we're going to dive in and start talking about this amazing program and how it's offered to our community. But first, I want to ask you a little bit about what exactly you do within the program. I know you're a business professor and also an MBA program director. Tell us a little bit about your duties.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking that question. So I'm in the classroom a little bit, right now for the last couple of years, it's been mostly MBA teaching only, but I've been fortunate enough to teach at all levels. That means I've taught in the Belk College of Business for the last coming up on 12 years now, at the undergraduate level, at the graduate level, which is our MBA program, and also in our doctoral programs. We have a doctoral program in organizational science. That's an interdisciplinary doctoral program, a PhD, essentially in organizational science. And I teach in that, as well as we have a DBA program, which is geared more towards top executives in organizations. So I've taught in that previously as well. So I've taught across all these levels. So, one part of my job is actually teaching, and the class that I teach is it's mostly centered around managing people, because my specialization actually is in leadership. So a lot of what I research and what I teach, bring into the classroom, is around how do you lead people effectively, and what does it mean to be an effective leader? So that transitions into the other part of my job, which is really a big part of what we do. We have a fantastic research group here within the management department in the Belk College of Business. And our research group is specifically focused on leadership and diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we're using some very state-of-the-art techniques and measurement tools, such as data science, big data, in trying and making leadership science better, So that could be an entire another, hour. We could talk about that. And more recently, I took on this role because I love our MBA program. It is our sense of community. It's our connection to the business community. I've been a part of it for over a decade now, so it felt like the time was right. And in that role, essentially, we look at curriculum. I work with staff. I work with faculty. I work with our students. And it's all about, delivering some value to the business community that's around us and connecting the university to the community. So in a nutshell.
I love that you mentioned the leadership components and managing people, because that is so important. Well, it's always important, but certainly today, as we move into this hybrid work environment, it is so important to be able to lead well, right? And to manage people in an effective way in these different sorts of environments.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, I always, I completely 200% agree with you. And if you look at what's going on with the Great Resignation, there's this often repeated cliche, which says people don't quit jobs, they quit their bosses, right? So I think that is something everyone can relate to, essentially, because people do make the place. And a big part of that people equation is one's immediate supervisor, and from there on, the top leadership at every level within a company. So as much as leadership has always been important, now in a world where we're in hybrid or virtual modes, and with everything changing about our world over the last 2 years, I think there's a renewed focus on what does it even mean to lead people, right? Can we keep using the same leadership strategies that we once used? Is it still about strength and power? Is it about what does strength mean in a world that has completely changed since 2020, right? So those
Yes, it
kinds of,
changed so quickly too, for sure.
yeah.
So inside the MBA program there at the Belk College of Business, tell us a little bit about, for our viewers who are thinking, I wonder if this is the right program for me. What sorts of things can they expect if they do apply and decide to matriculate in the program there?
Yeah. So, I'll talk about two different aspects of the MBA that will be, I think, particularly attractive to those that are thinking about, and also realistic for those that are thinking about an MBA. So, our MBA has actually been ranked as one of the best value for the money programs overall for years now in a row. I think it's been several years where we are the best value, locally. And in addition to that, we are the only technological skills focused MBA program that is going to be fully online starting this fall. And that is really, really important because we live in a world where analytics and these technology focused skills are becoming more and more important. So it doesn't matter what kind of specialization you are in. You might be in finance, accounting, or operations management, or what have you, but the ability to read numbers and make decisions, data driven decisions, that is never going to go out of style, right? And the use of technology to facilitate all of this is our core competency, and that's where we are. That's something you can expect if you are a prospective student, a prospective candidate for our MBA program in general, but our OMBA program in particular that's launching this fall. And I also want to mention that one thing that has stood out to me since I took on this role is our starting salaries for our MBA students for this last 2020, 2021. And keep in mind, that number was before the boom started in the market, right? Is actually around $94,000. And there'll be some statistics that I'll be sharing, and we can throw up those statistics, which is quite high for if you compare MBA programs across the board. And I think that's a really good value, and it's held its value now for about 20 years since we started tracking these numbers, where this base salaries have steadily increased over the years. So I think it's a good value proposition for anyone who's considering an advanced graduate degree, right? And if you
Yeah, that starting salary definitely sounds great. It's very impressive. And so for people who are thinking about becoming a part of the program, that technology focus that you mentioned is so important. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because obviously it's an online program, or a component of it is. So technology is, got to be what it's partially based on. But can you comment a little bit more about the importance of whatever discipline you're studying or going into, the importance of really embracing and understanding and incorporating technology into your, not really just only your business life, but also just your life?
Yeah, yeah. And Donna Maria, I have to admit that I'm one of those people that is still learning all kinds of technology. Like, for example, next week I'm taking a course in R, it's coding, and I'm super excited about it, right? And I think this is the world we live in. It doesn't matter what stage of career you're in, but we are constantly going to be learning new technological skills. And right now in our OMBA program, one of our most popular concentrations in our regular PMBA program, that's our professional MBA, which is, you can see the background, that's where we are housed in Uptown Charlotte. One of our most popular concentrations is actually business analytics. And it's really about the use of technology skills to make all kinds of data-driven decisions and coding that we offer in this MBA program, right? So we've transitioned that for our OMBA. So that's the first concentration that will be available starting this fall, right? And starting fall of 2023, we are introducing a new concentration called digital marketing. And digital marketing is tech focused. It's also about how do you leverage social media analytics, for example, in making decisions about which markets to appeal to and so on, right? So I think these two are our initial offerings. But as we start to move down this road, we are exploring more opportunities with local employers in terms of understanding where the needs are. Right now, we know that social media analytics and these business analytics, which is just taking all kinds of databases and being able to make decisions based on that data and having the technological skills, for example, Python, to make these decisions. That's where our focus is. But this is only the beginning, and we're starting to scale up. Does that get at what you were looking for?
Yes, it sounds like a hugely dynamic program. And I love the way you talk about the technology as well as the human interactive component, because you have to have both. And it sounds like this program has just out of the blocks, figured out a really, really foundational way to integrate those two important facets together to benefit anybody who wanted to study in the program. It sounds really exciting. Like I'm ready to sign up now, actually, but really happy to share this information with people. So for the students that do come in, tell us a little bit about, what are the qualities or what types of students are most successful in the program there?
Yeah. And, thank you. I want to speak to that because I'm in the MBA classroom myself. But one last thing, I would be remiss if I did not mention this about our MBA program in general. One of the things that makes us truly unique is the faculty that the Bell College of Business has now built up over, I think, the last 15 years or so. We have world-class faculty, and our faculty represent what our student population looks like, which is really the business community in Charlotte, right? So that is another unique asset. And for our students who are coming in, I think that is something they can look forward to, definitely. These are world-class researchers and teachers that have chosen to call Charlotte their home, and they're bringing their expertise into the OMBA program. So we are very excited about that. That's a huge value proposition as well. In terms of the type of student that is successful in our program, right? So OMBA, the modality, is launching this fall, and our PMBA has been around for a long time. This is typical of all MBA programs. MBA students tend to be very high achievement focused individuals, right? And you're looking for something that's a little bit beyond the technical skills only, because this is typically the typical MBA student tends to be someone with about 3 years of work experience. That's the minimum entry requirement. And already has some kind of, a little bit of work experience, has a start, and is now transitioning into, say, middle management or senior leadership roles. That's the typical profile of someone who's coming in. But there's also this other profile, which is of people who are changing careers. And we see this a whole lot in our MBA population, where someone might be in a particular discipline and they say, I kind of want to transition into the people side of things, and I want to understand how can I use business and analytics to make those decisions, right, about people. So that's the profile as well. So someone who's already established somewhat, in that 3-year space at least, and then someone who's looking to make a transition. And then there are others who might be taking a break, right? Say, for example, women. We are seeing that women have kind of pulled back from the workforce during the COVID pandemic. And if you're staying home and taking a little bit of a break for whatever reason it might be, right, this might be a good opportunity because it's completely flexible, it's completely asynchronous, and folks can complete the program on their own time. And these are the kinds of folks we expect will be in the MBA program. In terms of what would make you successful, I think this is definitely something that requires a lot of, discipline and motivation to, get through. And then also, even though it's a completely online program, we have a huge support system that's built around it, right? So we have regular interactions with MBA advisors. We will have all kinds of inbuilt interactions with faculty as well as with peers, right? But all of this is up to a student to take advantage of it. And in my own experience, even with our regular MBA program, different folks will take advantage of that at different levels. And those that avail themselves of these opportunities that are present, they tend to be more successful.
How important is the diversity component? You mentioned, women, you mentioned people who have taken a break or people who are basically starting a second career. And tell us a little bit about how diverse the community is there in other ways as well.
Yeah. And, I'll speak to that from the standpoint of three different constituencies, at least, right, at the very least. And that is the student population. And and when I say the student population, I'm only speaking of the MBA. Our undergraduate statistics are different, and I don't have that statistic in front of me. Our MBA population, as well as our faculty and staff, as well as the leadership of the program. So MBA programs in general used to be not as diverse, right? So this is just nationally, if you look at it, MBA classrooms used to be dominated by men, and mostly white men, right? And those statistics have started to shift over the last decade or so. And now when I walk into the classroom, it gives me immense, like I'm so gratified to see every single time that our MBA classrooms now, I would say, are incredibly diverse. That means women, that means, people of all ages, that means people of all abilities and sexual orientations, that means people from multiple races and international students. And, when I walk into the classroom now, it's just a completely different experience. I've taught at other universities before as well in the MBA curricula from what it was even 10 to 12 years ago. So I would say that what we are looking at here is very reflective of the Charlotte business community. I think it's important to keep in the back of our minds that our MBA students tend to be drawn from the business community, right? So it's reflective of them. Our faculty, the folks who are teaching in the MBA program, I'm very proud to say, are also an incredibly diverse group of people, my colleagues, across functional specializations, across gender, across race, across, ethnicities and nationalities. We come from several different backgrounds. And I believe that's a really strong asset when we walk into the classroom. And if you look at the leadership of the Bell College of Business, and this is up there on the website for anyone to see, right? You'll see that diversity is also reflected there. So, it's
Yes.
definitely an exciting place to be.
It does sound exciting and so relevant too, because we do have to be ready for the world, especially today as we move forward. We really have to be ready to be engaged in communities worldwide, especially as we look at technology and how it's rolling out. So really exciting to hear about that environment. And even though it's online, it sounds like it's incredibly diverse and also stimulating. So very exciting to hear. So tell us a little bit as we close out about what your particular opinions and thoughts are about the future of entrepreneurship and what could be in store for people who will be joining the program.
Yeah. And that's a two-part question, right? So entrepreneurship and then folks who are joining the OMBA program, right? So first of all, I think the future is very entrepreneurial. And, I see that you have expertise in that, Donna Maria, and also the management department of the Bell College of Business has some world-renowned entrepreneurship faculty as well. Dr. Justin Webb actually offers a lot of entrepreneurship-related certificates within our MBA program. And that is something I wanted to mention because it might not be as widely known. So there's definitely a huge future there. And it's also here in Charlotte because Charlotte is a very entrepreneurial city, as we know, right? And I think for the OMBA, this is really the wave of the future, right? I think my thoughts on this are that I think the future belongs to those that will not stop learning. And having UNC Charlotte and the Bell College of Business in particular in our backyard, right? This shows business matters. The fact that we are here in the backyard of all of these big companies just makes it very easy for us to be lifelong learners. And it's incredibly exciting to be a part of this online professional MBA program, which, will offer flexibility so that people can learn as they like, on their own time. But I would say like it offers an opportunity for all of us to grow and develop. And that's the most exciting part of the future.
Well, the future definitely is bright and certainly very exciting and thrilling at the program that you're describing. Really, really looking forward to seeing what happens next and all the great things that you and your colleagues are doing there. I just want to remind everyone that Business Matters is presented in partnership between Q City Metro and UNC Charlotte's Belk College of Business. Drive what's next with the Charlotte Online MBA, launching this fall with a choice of tech-focused concentrations, as we've just heard. Learn more by attending a virtual information session. You can click the link below. Well, Professor Janaki Goody from UNC Charlotte's Belk College of Business, as a business professor, as the program director, we're so excited that you joined us today to tell us a little bit about what you do and about this exciting program at UNC Charlotte Belk College of Business. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Donna Maria. Have a great day.
Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for joining us for Business Matters. We'll see you next time. I'm Donna Maria, signing off.